Good afternoon, it's your boy Jrubio, and I'm back at the table with some more cards to unveil for you guys today. We made it through the wild card. Now we're into the divisional playoff round. So let's see what happened in the wild card week. But before we dive into this wormhole of football, let's say what's up to my boy Blue. What up, Blue? Hey man, I hope you enjoyed those games last week. Those Texans pulled it off. They played very good. Hopefully they can take that energy into next week or this week against the Patriots. So we're going to move on and see what happened in those wild card games. So let's take a look at what happened in wild card weekend. We had several teams playing: the Rams and the Panthers, the Packers and the Bears, the Bills and the Jaguars, the 49ers and the Eagles, the Chargers and the Patriots, and the Texans and the Steelers. The game of the week was right here, the Texans versus the Steelers, but we're going to come back to that later on. So, with those Saturday games, it was the Rams and the Panthers, and the Packers and the Bears. I wanted the Panthers to win. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull it off. Horn from Colorado didn't catch that last pass, but hey, you can't blame that man. It should have never came down to having to catch one pass to get the first down, to advance the ball up the field and possibly kick a field goal to tie it and move into overtime. But sometimes things happen. It's a good thing that they actually looked for him at the end of the game, because they know that he's normally a sure-handed guy and can catch those passes. So hopefully he's not holding his head low. He's looking at this as a positive and trying to get better for next season. So let's dive into that game and just see what went on. As far as stats go, Matthew Stafford had 304 yards compared to Bryce Young's 264 yards. They both had one interception. Matthew Stafford had 3 touchdowns. Young had only 1. Williams had 13 carries for 57 yards. Hubert had 46 yards for 13 carries and 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua had 111 yards, 1 touchdown with 10 receptions. Coker had 1 touchdown for 134 yards and 9 receptions. It was a pretty good game. They both fought hard. At the end, when your quarterback throws 3 touchdowns and their defense is good, you pull it off. Having a total of 411 total yards, only 1 turnover. They both had the same amount of first downs. Unfortunately, the penalties really didn't hurt the Rams, but sometimes it works out like that and your team can pull it off. So the Rams are moving on to the next round. They will be playing the Bears. So they will be playing Caleb Williams. Let's move on to the next Saturday game. That next game was between Green Bay and Chicago. Chicago won. That's who I picked to win because I'm a Caleb Williams fan. Not a big fan of the Bears. Everybody knows that I'm a diehard Raider fan. I am also a USC fan, and Caleb Williams came from USC. Let's dive into that game. Caleb Williams had 361 yards. He was 24 for 48, had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think his first half was not the way he wanted to start out. But that second half he came out, he was moving that ball around, getting the ball to who he needed to get to. They were doing their thing. Jordan Love played pretty good. He had 323 yards. He was 24 for 46 and 4 touchdowns. They were pretty even as far as rushing yards, 55 to 54. Dobbs had 124 yards on 8 receptions and a touchdown. Colson Loveland, that guy right there, he's a big target and he's really sure-handed. He had 137 yards on 8 receptions. Both defenses played pretty good in that cold weather, and the Bears pulled it off. Bears had a total of 45 yards compared to 421. The Bears had 2 turnovers. Green Bay didn't have any. Penalty yards hurt Green Bay with 7 penalties for 65 yards compared to 2 for 5 yards. Pretty good game. Came down to the fourth quarter. Both teams played pretty good, and those defenses bailed them out. So the Bears are moving on, and Green Bay is going home. Hopefully Jordan Love can take this as a learning experience and can bounce back next year. Hopefully they can get their players healthy and get ready for next year. Good luck to the Bears playing against the Rams. I'm picking the Bears to beat the Rams. Let's move on to the next game. These are our Sunday games. So we have the Bills and the Jags, the 49ers and the Eagles, and the Chargers and the Patriots. Between the Bills and the Jags, I wanted the Bills to win. Josh Allen is just Josh Allen. The guy is pretty good. He just hasn't got over that hump yet to bring that trophy home, but hopefully soon. The Bills beat the Jaguars 27-24. Josh Allen had 273 yards. He was 28 for 35 and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, 207 yards, 18 for 30, 3 touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions. I think that's what hurt their team with keeping up with the Bills, even though it was still a close game. But yeah, you throw 2 interceptions, man, it'll come back and haunt you. Rushing yards, Cook had 46 on 15 carries. Etienne had 67 yards on 10 carries. Receiving yards, Washington had 107 on 7 receptions, 1 touchdown. And Shakir had 82 yards on 12 receptions. These teams are definitely 2 teams that if you can't defend them, they're going to eat you alive. The offense is just that dang good. I didn't really get a chance to watch this game, but the Bills defense actually showed up. Will they show up this week against the Denver Broncos? I'm not sure. We will find out. The Bills had a total of 340 yards compared to the Jags' 352. Of course, the turnovers killed the Jags with 2-1. They both had 20 first downs. The Bills actually had more penalty yards than the Jags, and that's surprising. But they pulled it off, and they are moving on. Hopefully the Jags can see this as a positive. They made it to the wild card. Unfortunately, they didn't make it deep into the playoffs, but they actually got there. Hopefully they can compound on that, get the right players in, get people healthy, and maybe next year they can make their run deep into the playoffs. So let's go on to the next game. We have the 49ers and the Eagles. I actually wanted the Eagles to win. I am not a fan of the 49ers. I'm not a hater. It's just being a Raider fan, you're usually not a fan of the 49ers. They won 23-19 over the Eagles. The Eagles battled a lot of injuries over the season. They got some pretty good players, but just could not pull it off. Purdy had 262 yards, 18 for 31, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Hurts was 20 for 35. He had 168 yards and 1 touchdown. Saquon had 106 yards on 26 carries. McCaffrey only had 48 yards on 15 carries, but he probably also added some receptions also out of the backfield. As far as receiving yards, Robinson had 111 yards on 6 receptions and 1 touchdown. Smith had 70 yards on 8 receptions, no touchdowns. When you're the star guy, you got to get in that end zone. And neither one of these guys scored a touchdown. It is what it is. They're a pretty good team. They make it to the playoffs a lot. They just need to get healthier, add some pieces, and then they can probably move on. The San Francisco 49ers had 361 total yards to 307. The 49ers had 2 turnovers. Eagles had none, but I guess they just couldn't get in the end zone. Both had almost the same amount of first downs. The penalty yards for the Eagles killed them. 7 penalties for 48 yards. Some of the drives they were going for, they needed those to move down the field to get in that zone. But unfortunately, they didn't make it. So the 49ers are moving on. They will be playing the Seahawks on Saturday. We'll see who will win that game. We have the Chargers and the Patriots. I am not a big Patriots fan, but Drake Maye is a beast. Yeah, he is. That offensive line blocks good for him, and they played a really good defense in the Chargers. And man, 16-3. Whoever they play next, which is my hometown Houston Texans, the Texans defense are definitely going to have to step it up. They're going to have to make Drake Maye uncomfortable. Have to get in that backfield, have him moving around, push those big boys back on their offensive line, and get after him. Because if they let him sit back there, he's going to pick them apart. Let's dive into this game. I really wanted the Patriots to lose, but they won. Nobody knew that after Tom Brady left, how long it was going to take them to bounce back and get a quarterback to lead the Patriots into the playoffs again. But it looks like they got a quarterback. I'm not going to say he's as good as Brady or even close to being as good as Brady. Brady won a lot of awards and Super Bowls. He has a lot of catching up to do. But anyways, diving into the game, Herbert had 159 yards, 19 for 31. Drake Maye, 268 yards, 17 for 29, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And I think the interception was like a tipped ball, but hey, it is what it is. The rushing leaders for the game were both quarterbacks. Herbert had 57 yards on 10 carries. Drake Maye had 66 yards on 10 carries. Moving on to the receivers, Ladd McConkey had 32 yards on 3 receptions. Stevenson had 75 yards on 3 receptions. Both teams played pretty good. The New England Patriots had 381 yards compared to 207 total yards. The Patriots had 2 turnovers to 1. They're both about the same on the first downs. Penalty yards, the Chargers had more penalties, less yards. The Patriots had less penalties, more yards. The Chargers were 1 for 10 on third down. Oof. And they both weren't too good on third down, but 1 for 10, that kills you. That means you were having a lot of 3 and outs. And a 4 for 11 is not any better, but still, if you're only getting 1 third down, that defense is just walking off the field and coming right back on. Hopefully there's a commercial break in between so they can get a little more time. But man, they have to get that together, sharpen that up. Hopefully they can get healthy again, get some pieces in there that can make the team a little bit better. The Patriots are moving on. They'll be playing my Houston Texans. And we will see. Hopefully those Texans can prevail from that. And we can move on and the Patriots can go home. Let's dive into the game of the week, which is the Houston Texans versus the Steelers. The 2025 Panini Mosaic football cards picked the Texans to beat the Steelers. And as you can tell, they did. 30-6. Watching the game in that first half, it was a really close game. CJ Stroud was not at his best in the first half. Defense was definitely on point. Up until halftime, it was 7-6. The Texans didn't score in the first quarter. They scored the second quarter. They didn't score in the third, but they broke away in the fourth. The Texans defense is a beast. They get after that ball. They swarm the ball. They make them quarterbacks uncomfortable. Coach had a great game plan. Playing against the Patriots, CJ's going to have to get it together. He's going to have to play 4 good quarters. 4 good quarters against the Patriots. Let's dive into these stats. CJ had 250 yards, 21 for 32, one touchdown, one interception. Aaron Rodgers, only 146 yards, 17 for 33, one interception. Marks had 112 yards, 19 carries, and a touchdown. Warren had 43 yards on 12 carries, no touchdowns. Christian Kirk stepped up. He was injured for most of the season, and even when he came back, he was invisible. But he stepped up in the playoffs. 144 yards, 8 receptions, and a touchdown. Metcalf, unfortunately, only had 42 yards on 2 receptions. I think they pretty much had him bottled up. They was double teaming him, making him uncomfortable, not letting him get off the line easily. But when you're the star receiver, that's the kind of action you get. The Texans defense had 1.5 sacks. They were swarming on the Steelers and getting after it. Secondary played pretty good against their receivers. They prevailed. They made it happen. With the total yards, the Texans had 408. The Steelers had 175. Of course, the Texans had 3 turnovers. I think Stroud threw 1 interception. I think that ball was tipped. He fumbled 1, I think, even though it was recovered by the offense. The receivers fumbled or the running back fumbled. It might have been both that fumbled and the Steelers recovered. But they were able to pull it off and break away in the second half. I'm so proud of those guys. Hopefully they can take that energy, compound off the negatives that was out of this game here, and bring it to a positive and correct those things and blow out the Patriots and send Drake Maye home. CJ is a great quarterback. He's shaky when he first starts out, but he got it together. He's going to have to play a damn near perfect game against the Patriots because that offensive line on the Patriots is going to get through there, or those linebackers are going to get through there because they are a well-oiled machine. I think they can do it with the coaches they have on defense. They can come up with some schemes that can get them through. CJ definitely has to move that ball down the field, give that defense some rest so they can have that energy to get after Drake Maye. First downs were pretty close. Penalty yards, 6 for 44 and 3 for 24. They were 10 for 15 on third down. So they were moving that ball. Most of that came in the second half. Steelers just couldn't get it together. 2 for 14. You got to do better if you want to advance into these playoffs. They're going home. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be there next year? Tomlin is gone. We'll see where he goes. I just looked on ESPN earlier today. Harbaugh is actually going to the Giants, I think. Yep. It says Giants finalizing deal with Harbaugh. So we'll see. He's got a good quarterback over there. If Scatterboo can get back healthy, he's probably going to have to change up his game a little bit with his injury. And probably because I think he also had a concussion or 2 during the season. Maybe change his game up a little bit, try not to take some of those big hits, try to avoid some of them. Because he can get down the field. He's not the fastest guy, but he'll break away from you. They're getting a pretty good coach. Hopefully he can get that team together and get the Giants back to where they need to go. My Raiders, unfortunately, I don't even know. My Raiders treat coaches like a Tinder profile. You date somebody 1 year, and the next year you move on to the next one. Hopefully we get a good coach. I heard they were interviewing Stefanski. I really hope they don't pick this guy up. I don't understand why some of these teams go after these coaches that just don't have it. Sure, you can probably get them for a cheap price, but you want your team to win. I don't know what his thought process was in Cleveland. The organization for Cleveland is probably not the best organization as far as a fan standpoint looking outside in, because the Browns have been down for a long time and they've had good defenses. It's just the offense just don't get it together. And then they had Baker Mayfield, and look how he's doing. Hopefully we find somebody good and can actually keep a coach for more than a year. Because bringing in a new coach, that new coach wants to bring in his own staff, he wants to bring in his own plays. So that means those players have to learn new schemes, new calls, new everything. Good luck to those teams that are playing on Saturday and Sunday of this week for the divisional rounds. So, yeah, that's it for that part. We talked about the game of the week. Now we're going to go into the cards that we're going to use to pick the winners out of all the games for the playoffs. So, with this box of cards, we're going to have it pick the winner out of each of the games this week. And we'll see how that goes. I want the Texans to win. I want the Bills to win. I want the Seahawks to win. And I want the Bears to win. So those are my predictions for this week. But the cards might have something different. Let's see which cards we're going to use for this week. So the cards that we're going to use for this week is some more Mosaic cards. I got this particular box from Costco. Let me see, did I write on here how much I paid for them? I don't remember. Maybe 45 bucks? Something like that. Yes, we're going to use these cards here. It is the 2025 NFL trading cards. It is a Panini brand, NFL logo, NFL Players Association up at the top there. On the cover of this one is Dak Prescott. Didn't make it to the playoffs. Hopefully the Cowboys can move on, not from Dak, get some better players. Maybe they can get to the playoffs next year. This particular box has 49 total cards. Let's see how many packs we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 packs. And one big card here. Hopefully we can pull something good out of here. I'm not sure if we can pull number cards or autographs, but hopefully we can get something good. It says unwrap the exclusive stained glass oversized card. Hopefully I can get a stained glass and just the regular cards here. Let's see what we got here. Oops, let me back that up a little bit. So there is 8 packs per box and 6 cards per pack. So a total of 48. So on this box here, let's go up a little bit. So the 2025 Panini Mosaic Football features a 400 card set, including 250 base, 100 base rookies, 20 base international games, 20 base rookie variations, and 10 base Hall of Fame. All these here are particular cards that you can get out of this box. Let me zoom in on that if I can. And hopefully you guys can read that. If you would like to pause the screen for now and take a look, you can. So these are the different variations and all that other good stuff that could be in this particular pack. So let's go ahead and break into this box and let's get to ripping. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. Instagram at j.rubio80, TikTok at jrubio80, YouTube at jrubio, eBay is where I sell most of my cards, and that's jrubio80, all lowercase. I also put stuff on Facebook, which is just my name, Jamie Rubio. Follow, subscribe, share, leave a comment. If there's any particular cards that you guys like, either out of this particular box here, or are looking for specific players, check out my eBay, or just shoot me a DM, and who knows, I might already have it in my stockpile, and maybe I can get it out to you. Maybe we can make a good deal and get it to you. All right. So let's break into this box. Hey, Blue. Are you ready for this, brother? Let's get it started. All right. So I finally got it out of the box. This is it inside the plastic. Let's go ahead and take these bad boys out and bring it down to the table here. We'll throw this to the side, get that out of my way, get all my cards here, all my little packs here. We'll sit that one up there. That might be our tiebreaker. All right, got all the packs out. Let's come on back down here to the table here. Straighten them a little, Matt. And we got all our cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I will shuffle these for about 10 seconds. And we're going to just leave out one pack as usual. I'm not going to add this one to the collection that we have for the Super Bowl, but we'll save this one for another rip, or maybe we'll put it up for sale. Haven't decided yet. Let's bring this down a little bit. Boom, that should be perfect. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Last pack here is gonna go into my collection. I'll sit that back there. We'll open up these packs here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 times 6, let's do the math. That is 42 cards. Plus the big one in the back here, 43 cards. All right. All right, so the game that I'm really interested in is definitely the Texans versus the Patriots. I want the hometown team to win. I am a Raiders fan, but I have to go with the home team against the Patriots. We're going to use the cards to pick the winner out of each one of the games here. So we've got the games that are going to be playing. Our Saturday game is the Bills versus the Broncos, and the 49ers versus the Seahawks. And our Sunday games are the Texans and the Patriots, and the Rams and the Bears. I already put in my predictions for the games. I want the Bills to beat the Broncos. I want the Seahawks to beat the 49ers. Of course, the Texans to beat the Patriots. And the Bears to beat the Rams. All right. So let's see what the cards have in store for us. So coming out of the gate with the first pack here. Let's see what we got. We have a Raven. A Lamar Jackson, to be exact. Let me zoom in just a little bit more on these cards. I think that should be good there. So we got Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens. We have Cam Miller from my Las Vegas Raiders, rookie card. We have Matthew Golden on the Elevate Insert rookie card. All right, we have Mr. Earl Campbell, Hall of Fame. We will add that to the Houston Texans. So the Texans are up on the Patriots, 1-0. We have Santana Moss from the Washington Commanders. When he used to play, it was the Redskins, but they're the Commanders now. We have Chuba Herbert from the Carolina Panthers. That was the last card in that pack. Moving on to the next pack. So the Texans are up on the Patriots, 1-0. I don't have any Bills, Broncos, 49ers, Seahawks, Patriots, Bears, or Rams. Let's see what we got in this next pack here. So, coming out of the gate, we have from the New York Jets, Garrett Wilson. From my Las Vegas Raiders, we have Dante Thornton Jr. From the Seahawks, all right, that's a nice looking card there. Not sure what this variation is. Maybe it's like a scope or something like that. Mr. Jalen Milroe from the Seahawks. Is that one numbered? No, I don't see any numbers on the back of there. Don't see any numbers on the front, but it's a nice looking card. So the Seahawks are up on the 49ers 1-0. For the Lions, we have Mr. Golden Tate. For the Dallas Cowboys, we have Micah Parsons, that is currently with the Green Bay Packers. In this pack, we have Mr. Derwin James Jr. from the Los Angeles Chargers, who was eliminated last week. Moving on to the next pack, starting out, we have Isaiah Davis from the New York Jets. We have Isaac Tesla, rookie card from the Detroit Lions. We have on the Touchdown Masters, we have Jordan Love. I always like this variation here. It's a pretty cool variation. All right. From the Carolina Panthers, we have Josie Jewell. From the Chicago Bears, we have Cole Kmet. The Bears are up on the Rams 1-0. In this pack, we have Isaiah Likely from the Baltimore Ravens. So to recap, the Texans are up 1-0 on the Patriots. The Seahawks are up 1-0 on the 49ers. And the Bears are up 1-0 on the Rams. All right, let's get back to the table. Going into the next pack here. From the Atlanta Falcons, we have Darnell Mooney. From the Buccaneers, we have Baker Mayfield. From the Cleveland Browns, we have a rookie card of Harold Fannin Jr. From the Minnesota Vikings, we have Andrew Van Ginkel, and it says Bang in the background. He's actually tackling C.J. Stroud. It's a nice looking card there. So we'll put that over here. All right, moving on. We have from the Philadelphia Eagles, it says Brazil Games, Saquon Barkley. And from the Minnesota Vikings, we have Chuck Foreman. I think he's an old school player. They used to play back in the day. Let's see, when did he play? 1973 to 1979. All right. So it looks like we are a little bit more than halfway through. All right. So let's move on to the next pack. All right. Coming out of the gate, we have another Seahawk. We have Mr. Leonard Williams from the Seattle Seahawks. They are now up on the 49ers 2-0. From my Las Vegas Raiders, rookie card of Jack Beck. We have another Seahawk, a rookie card of Elijah Arroyo. So the Seahawks are up on the 49ers 3-0. We have a England Games, Caleb Williams. The Bears are now up 2-0 on the Rams. We have Jared Goff from the Detroit Lions. And we have Jamal Anderson, the Dirty Bird himself, from the Atlanta Falcons. All right, moving on to that next pack. This particular pack is Seahawk heavy. So we have Leonard Williams from the Seahawks. And now the Seahawks are up 4-0 on the 49ers. We have from the Tennessee Titans, Shamir Dyke, rookie card. Oh, that's pretty nice. I like that little mosaic there of James Pierce Jr. from the Atlanta Falcons. That's pretty cool. We'll sit that right there. From the Detroit Lions, we have Brian Branch, and it says bang in the background, and he is tackling a Texan. Wow, is this good or bad for the Texans? So that's 2 bang cards where the team is tackling the Texans. But hopefully that's a good thing. Maybe they're gaining yards in that particular play or getting first downs or touchdowns. I'm not sure. But there's that card right there. Brian Branch from the Detroit Lions. On the bang. All right, from the Philadelphia Eagles, I have Michael Vick, who also played for the Atlanta Falcons. From the Pittsburgh Steelers, I have Jaylen Warren. All right. Last pack, guys. Last pack. So I have not pulled any Bills or Broncos. Maybe the cards just don't care about them. Or maybe a Bill or a Bronco is in this pack right here. We'll see in a few. All right. Back into it. Last pack. Starting out, we have Tyler Nubin from the New York Giants. We have our first Bronco. Barron, rookie card. Whoa, look at that. We have another Bronco. Nick Benito on the bang card from the Denver Broncos. So the Broncos are up 2-0 on the Bills. We have Danny White from the Dallas Cowboys. We have Jalen Hurts from the Brazil games. And from the Bills, Khalil Shakir. As of right now, the Texans are up on the Patriots 1-0. The Seahawks are up on the 49ers 4-0. The Bears are up 2-0 on the Rams. The Broncos are up 2-1 on the Buffalo Bills. Will the big card be the deciding factor, or will the picks remain the same? Not sure, but we shall see. And this one is going to be a stained glass, I think. Let's see. Yep, it's going to be a stained glass. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be a CJ Stroud? Is it going to be a Bo Nix? Is it going to be a Josh Allen? Who knows who it's going to be? But let's open it up and see. And be gentle with it. All right. Coming out of the gate, it is a stained glass. I think it's a lion. And it is... Oh, it is not a lion. It is my boy, Ashton Genty from my Las Vegas Raiders rookie card. That is awesome. I wish it would have been a regular card that was a stained glass. But hey, I like that. That is a nice looking card. Let me zoom out so you guys can see the whole thing. And there it is. Ashton Genty on the stained glass. If you guys got this on a regular card, that is awesome. Hopefully my Raiders can get it together so this guy can flourish, because he is an awesome running back. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He just needs an offensive line in front of him. He needs a quarterback that can get him the ball, and a defense that can sustain that lead. We have made it through the cards. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with others. I enjoy bringing this type of content to you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the content that I bring to you guys. So, out of these games for this coming weekend, we have picked the Texans to beat the Patriots, the Seahawks to beat the 49ers, the Bears to beat the Rams, and the Broncos to beat the Bills. So we'll see. Will the Cards win? Or will my picks win? Who knows? Tune in Saturday for those games. Make sure you guys watch my videos. The full video will be on YouTube. You can follow me on YouTube at Jrubio. The clips will be up on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok, you can follow me at Jrubio80. Instagram, you can follow me at j.rubio80. Some of the pictures of the cards will be up on Facebook, and that's just Jamie Rubio. If you see any cards here that you like or would like to purchase, or any particular players you guys are interested in, just either shoot me a DM on any of my social medias, or you can go to my eBay account and shoot me a message at jrubio80, all lowercase. All right, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you guys for making it through this video. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great day. Be blessed and enjoy these football games. Without further ado, me and my boy Blue, we're out of here.